Hello and welcome back to my podcast. Hi, welcome back to another episode of the Conversations with Three podcast by myself, Viviana Chung. Yo, so I'm laughing because I can't cry. So yesterday around 9:30 p.m. I went to the hospital. I had a very eventful day because 1 minute I'm with my sister at the salon getting her hair locked, and the next minute my legs forget how to work and I need to go to the hospital to see what's up, which I was scared. I'm not gonna lie, I was scared because during the day when I went to ask, because maybe it's something serious, I went to ask, and this woman tells me that unajua, you need to get tested because maybe you have an infection, you have a bacterial infection that is affecting your kidneys. I was like, bitch, what? Or alternatively, you could be having arthritis. We need to check on that. So I went back and I asked ChatGPT, which I know is not a good habit, but ChatGPT said if any of this is true, then you don't need to get tested in a pharmacy, but you need to go to a hospital. So I was like, maybe it's not that serious, it will end, because my legs were just feeling very weak. So around 9 p.m. now I can't even stretch my legs, Jesus. So I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go to a hospital because there's a hospital right next to where we stay, and it's a 24-hour hospital. Praise God for that. So I come back. Already I have naogopa juu ule mama aliniambiaje arthritis or what, kidney infection because of bacteria. I have a kidney failure or kidney something because of bacterial infection. So even they're testing my heartbeat and my heart is racing, so they're like, your heart rate is not normal. I'm like, I'm just scared. So they do test. Praise God, I none of those is true, so I just have something that is not that serious. They give me meds. I come back home at around 12 a.m. I go to the rooftop to record an episode because it was quiet. Apart from dogs barking, it was very quiet. I got the rooftop, I record an episode, and I was like, tomorrow I'll just edit this, because there were like parts where I was silent for like a whole minute because somebody was there. And when that person came, I lost my train of thought, so I had to keep quiet until they left. So I was like, I'll just edit this part out and I'll be good. So by 2, 3, 4 Apple, I'll have posted the episode because there's something new I also need to try. I wake up, we do laundry, we get water, alafu. Now I'm alternating between editing the audio and doing what? I'm alternating between editing the audio and watching TikToks. So I come across this nafika point yenye nilikuwa nimenyamaza, Jesus, and then I managed to get it out. Kumbe I've saved the part that I was quiet and deleted the part where I was talking. So I only have a 19 seconds episode. Yo, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why can't this girl catch a break? You get like, ni nani huyu anaandika story yangu yenye tu ako and have a time of their life. Anyway, these things are part and parcel of podcasting, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, so in as much as at this point we went Sofuria shopping on Friday with my friend and my sister, and we had like a budget of around 5,000 for sufuria and utensils. And let me tell you, we only got sufurias, alafu the rest of the money we bought shoes. We bought trousers. And I was like, my friend was saying, to me a pesa itarudi. Never listen to such people, because now we only came back with sufurias and I think brush tu ya kuosha nguo peke yake, and we had a whole budget, and we did not have a list because where we were going ilikuwa imefungwa, because again ilikuwa shughuli after work, and after work ni a bit crazy. So it's just like, because we did not get what we came here for, why not get shoes? Jesus. I got, I don't know, 2 pairs of shoes, 2 trousers. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. So, shughuli itabidi imekuwa postponed to next month. Anyway, happy new month. It's date 9, so I think it's not that late to say happy new month. And the month started with a girlfriend's day. I hope you all had a good girlfriend's day. If not, we try again next year. If not next year, then year after next. Even after 5 years, if it was a Kimbi. So zero pressure whatsoever. Yes. Anyway, I'm so happy in as much as ninakani kama niko na ma-stress mingi, which I actually do. I'm so happy because in as much as everything else in my life feels like it's about to fall apart or is already falling apart, do you know what is not? This podcast. And after a whole year of trying to get back that initial feeling that I had when I started this podcast, where I was always like very excited anything podcasting, I finally have my leg back. Yay! Drum rolls. Anyway, seriously though, right now I just get excited about small things. Anything podcast related, it excites me so much. I see something on TikTok, I'm like, we could build an episode from this. So haraka kwa notes, which is a good thing, yes. Anyway, if you are new here, welcome. And if it's not your first time being here, oh god, yes, that's correct. And if it's not your first time being here, or rather your 63rd time, welcome back, sugar. Anyway, let's get into today's episode. Nikona 2 topics that I needed to talk about, but I think I'm just gonna go with, and I'm going to do random selection and just flow with it. So, I needed to talk about 2 moments that happened recently that are completely unrelated to each other. And when I say unrelated, I mean unrelated because the subjects of my story or the subjects of my theory are not even from the same country, are not even from the same continent. They don't even know each other. So maybe one party knows about the other party, but the other party does not know about the other party. You people like getting what I'm trying to say? Anyway. So I did not even notice the similarity between these 2 stories until I saw somebody on TikTok talk about it, and I was like, now that you've mentioned it, I can see it. So I'm gonna talk about it too. So wait, thing about TikTok is, when you find somebody who you relate to their content with, you relate with their content, and then you follow them, they disappear from your FYP. What happens? So each time I find somebody who I really relate with their content, I don't follow them. I don't, because the moment I follow you, you're gonna disappear, and I don't want you to disappear because you're such a breath of fresh air. So I'm forced to not follow you in as much as I want to. You get? Anyway, the first case study, Mariah the Scientist and Young Thug. Young Thug proposed to Mariah the Scientist, I think late last year. Was it this year? Also, time imeenda sana. So he proposed to Mariah the Scientist when Mariah was performing in her concert. Was it in her concert, or is it in her concert, or at her concert? In her concert, in front of thousands or even millions of people. Alafu Arrow Boy, so Nadia Mukami was celebrating 10 years in the music industry, which is 10 years is a lot. It's a decade of hard work, a decade of showing up every single day without fail. Guy, let me lose my train of thought. Yes, so a decade of hard work, a decade of consistency, sacrifice, and showing up every single day. And during this celebration, this Arab boy of a man, he decides to show up with their kid again, she was on stage, and that's the time he decided this is the perfect moment to apologize. When you had a lot of time. Ulikuwa na a lot of time to apologize. Why show up then? You even went to a podcast and said this babe was your side chick. So why are you apologizing now? In her show. Bro. Anyway, some people on the internet love both of these moments. Some people be like, this is mumu love. And you're like, when things like this happen, God, may this kind of love never locate me, which is okay. You are allowed to want what you want. But maybe these women absolutely love these moments, and we're not judging. And even maybe they wouldn't have wanted it any other way. Perfect. But that is not what I want to have. That is not the conversation I want us to have today. Yes? The question I keep asking myself is this. Anytime both of these stories, so similar yet so different, appear on my FYP, on TikTok, or even on my timeline on Instagram, I'm like, is choice really free when it's made in front of 1,000 people? Is it? I think over the years we have conditioned ourselves to believe that grand gestures are the highest form of love. Hell, I've even read like 2 books consecutively, which I don't remember the title because that's what happens. I never remember book titles. I don't know why. Even if you ask me what I'm reading right now, I won't remember. I'll have to check. Anyway, sorry for another day. So I've read 2 books before I read, because the one that I'm reading right now is a psychological thriller, but the 2 before that were romance novels. And grand gestures seem to be a big thing for both of these girls, which is okay, and I definitely have no problem with that. I actually think that grand gestures is great, and when done right, when done perfectly, it definitely might hit a nerve or two. Na pia grand gestures zinafai kukuwa personalized to the person. You get. It is not something that is universal. There's not like a book that says this is what you're supposed to do as a grand gesture, so stick to it. If somebody is not, for example, if somebody does not love public places, why are you apologizing? Yes, why are you apologizing, or why are you proposing to them in public? Yes, mbona unapropozea mtu archive na yeye ni introvert? Anyway, I think that what we normally think is that the louder the applause, the bigger the surprise, the more the cameras, the more romantic this seems. But I wonder if at some point we lost the plot and started confusing spectacle with intimacy. Because with both of these situations, they're asking for something from someone. The proposal is asking someone to choose them, and the apology is asking someone to forgive them. So, both of these are very personal decisions, and because they are very personal, what happens when the decision has to be made in front of an audience, or rather, what happens when the decision has an audience? Back to nyinyi watu wa kupropozea watu archives. Wait, let me fix my posture because nachoka mabega. Hi, what was I saying? Back to watu wa kupropozea watu archives. I'm coming for you again because picture this. You're out somewhere with somebody you actually love very much, or even like a lot. Yes. And you just think it's going to be a normal day. Maybe people are just gonna have like food and and suddenly you're in Nairobi CBD at 12 noon, and this person decides to go down on one knee in the middle of Nairobi CBD on a Monday at town on a Monday. Archives. This person decides, will you be my wife? And all of a sudden, before you even know what is happening, before you even know you're being proposed to. Hundreds of phones are already recording. Some people like wako adi TikTok live. And don't forget about Kinanjeri and Onyango Uko but left shouting, say yes, say yes, say yes, say yes, say yes. And before you realize, everyone, even the Mama Smokey, is invested in your love life that they had no idea about until this very second. So, after you've pictured that, ask yourself, if your honest answer was going to be, I actually need some time, or I'm not ready, I have things that I need to figure out first before I say yes to you, or even if your answer is just a no, will you still feel free enough to say it? Will you feel comfortable enough to say, actually, I don't want to do this? Because saying no at this particular point in time, when everybody is watching you, everybody is recording, that's why we are recording, babe. It is not about disappointing one person anymore. It's disappointing a whole crowd of people, and that itself is pressure. Each time mtu anakuja ku apologize, no, not apologize, but each time somebody proposes in public and the person says no, we have this conversation with my friends, and most of us say, because this is somebody I actually love and adore and wouldn't want to put them in such a situation, I just say yes, but we are going to have this conversation later, because thing is, these things people don't forget. That saying, for the internet never forgets. This is it. Because Uko Twitter people will be going crazy like, boy child, after all he invested, maybe he did not even invest shit, but after everything he invested, the babe said no. People are gifting you trips to go to Dubai, to Diani, just to pigia mwili pole because ulikataliwa in public. Yet you could have avoided this. So it sticks. People don't forget that. So you're just like, because I don't want to embarrass this person, I'm just gonna say yes, and we are going to have this conversation later and be like, no, I might have said yes to you, but we were in public, a lot of people were there, I did not want to embarrass you, but I can't marry you right now. Yes, if it's right now, or even I just can't marry you. Anyway, social media has changed how we view love. It has changed love. I think we figured that out on the previous episode, which you need to listen to if you have not listened to yet. Yes? Relationships are not just relationships anymore. They are content. The proposal has to trend. The apology has to go viral for it to be an apology. And the anniversary definitely needs a whole photo shoot, which is not actually a bad thing because it's something I will also do. The birthday needs fireworks, and the caption needs to make people cry, or else it's not a caption. So sometimes I wonder, are we creating memories, or are we just creating moments that look good online? Because I have never been in a I've never been in a relationship. It's quite serious. I've never been in a relationship. And if you've been in a relationship with me, come forward with proof. I have never been in a relationship, yes, but I've read a million romance books to know that the most meaningful parts of love are usually the parts that people don't see, the invisible parts. Those difficult conversations that you need to have at 12 a.m. in the morning, the accountability, the quiet reassurance, those ordinary Tuesday afternoons, they don't go viral. None of them go viral, but they build relationships. And then there's another thing I've noticed. Both of these moments are happening during celebrations that belonged to women. Mariah was performing at a concert, and Nadia, she was celebrating 10 years in music, and it makes me think. Sometimes, even beautiful gestures can accidentally shift the spotlight. Because imagine spending months, years building up to something, preparing for one of the biggest nights of your career. And then the next morning, instead of people talking about it, they're talking about your relationship. They're not talking about your achievements. They're talking about your relationship. And again, that does not make the gesture bad. It just raises a question. Can we celebrate someone without making ourselves part of their celebration? Si lazima tuone hapa tumekuja kwa you would have looked for another avenue to apologize, but you chose this moment? Interesting. Can we let somebody's achievement be the main event? Kuna time zingine mingi utaenda kupropose, kuna time mingi uta apologize but celebrate this person right now. The rest will follow. Yes? So, back to the original question. Is choice really free? I don't think there's an easy answer to that, because public gestures, like I said, can be extremely beautiful. Like we are crying beautiful, and some people generally dream of having those big proposals in front of a thousand people. Some people appreciate public apologies because they feel like the hurt happened in public. There's even a saying for the disrespect. If the disrespect was loud, the apology needs to be louder. Yes, but I also think that we should acknowledge something. An audience changes the room even when no one says a word. Even if Nigeria not shouting, say yes, say yes, say yes, or say no, say no, say no, it immediately changes the room. The presence of other people, it influences us more than we'd like to admit. And that is human, because I'm not going to tell you no in front of 1 million people and embarrass you like that. I'm not going to do that. Or I'm not going to tell you yes and people wananiangalia with eyes that keep saying, say no, say no, say no. I'm going to do what people want us to do. Or I'm going to say what people expect me to say, or what you expect me to say, so that you don't get disappointed, you don't get embarrassed in front of these people. Yes? So, can we just stop doing this? Can I not? Truth is, But I think, no, I don't think. We've come to the end of this episode, but I'm going to leave you with this. If your partner is planning or propose to you in private, will your answer be the same as it will be in front of 10,000 people? And if somebody apologized to you privately, will your answer be the same from the one you'd give if you are under the eyes of an audience? Because maybe the real question isn't whether grand gestures are romantic, because they are. Maybe the real question is whether love should leave enough room for an honest answer. And I think that the most romantic thing anyone can do for you, or anyone can do for another person they claim to love or adore or like so much, is the freedom to choose without all this unnecessary pressure. Yes? Think about it. Anyway, we've come to the end of this episode. This has been me, Viviana Ching, and I'll see you on the next episode. Love you. Bye. Mwah.